It's quite the find. Hello friends, and welcome back to Crow's Thrifty Finds. My name is Melanie. So for this week's video, I have, as you can see, a very special guest. This is actually his second appearance on my channel, and I'm so honored to have him back, the ever so wonderful Wick from Flipping Junk.
Happy to be here. Thanks for having me.
No problem. So we're doing kind of just a fun video today, just something that I'm sure so many resellers can relate to. And I invite you all that are watching this to take part in these kind of little debates that we're going to be doing today. In the comments section, it'll be really fun, but we're just going to talk about all things reselling, and we're doing it in the form of a would you rather. So would you rather do this or would you rather do that? And it's kind of just debatable stuff that resellers, can go back and forth on. I was joking with Wick that we should turn this into a drinking game, but then we kind of changed our mind on it last minute.
Yeah, that might get messy.
Yeah. Exactly. So we're going to go through some questions, and we're going to give our answers. We welcome your answers, and it's just a fun video this week. That's all. We're just having some fun here on Crow's Thrifty Finds. So for question number 1, Wick, would you rather go to a garage sale that's advertised like on Facebook Marketplace or whatever to have high dollar items so you can see what the pictures are, what's there? Or would you rather go to a garage sale that starts at the same time, but it's not showing what's there? But who knows? It could have amazing items. So are you going to go to the garage sale that maybe a bunch of other people are going to because there's amazing items, or are you going to go to the mystery garage sale?
Ooh, okay. Let me think. I think, well, I guess it would depend on the items that are being shown at the sale. If it was something I really wanted, maybe something really valuable that I didn't think that other people would know about, I would go ahead and maybe try to go to that one and get something. If there's a lot of things advertised and you think, well, there's enough people or there are enough good things that I can just go get something, maybe, maybe I would. But I like to go to the mystery sales. And a lot of times I've seen sales where I'm like, oh, this is a good sale. Everyone's going here. Let's go to the other one. And it's paid off. Sometimes it doesn't pay off. So, I think it would depend on what's being shown, at the sale, but a lot of times I do go to the ones I think won't have as much competition. How about you?
I think that it would depend on what the high dollar items are. So I'm kind of with you on that. Like if it's very obvious items that a lot of resellers, are after, like if it's video game consoles or something, I'd probably skip it and go to the mystery sale as well. But generally, I like to gamble on the mystery sales. So if I see something that looks like it's going to draw a huge crowd of people, I'm going to the other one because there'll be less people there, more things for me.
For instance, I just went to an estate sale the other day. They're advertising band T-shirts, guitars, all that kind of stuff. They had it all laid out on the table. Obviously, I'm not going to try to go get that stuff because everyone's going to be trying to get that.
Yep.
So when I went to the sale, I mean, this is a little different. I just kind of went. I did not beeline it to that table. I just went to the other parts of the sale and tried to get other things. So
And I
yeah,
bet you had first dibs because everybody was running over to the other
yeah,
side.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, you just
Awesome. Did you get stuff?
sacrifice it. No, the shirts were priced high. It did turn out that the guy had 50 plus brand new vintage T-shirts, and I offered, or he offered me. He said $1,000, you can have them all, and I'm like, oh yeah, I want these, and it turned out to be dry rotted. So I didn't end up buying them, but it would have been a phenomenal. But we're getting off topic already, so
It's such a tragedy. It's such
yeah,
a tragedy. Oh,
yeah.
and it's like if they were any other color but black, because of course black is the dry rot color. Like if those shirts had been white, it's something about the black dye, they say. But yeah,
Yeah.
that stinks. I've had
Yeah.
shirts be dry rotted. It's tragic. Like shirts from my own childhood that
Yeah.
were band shirts that, yep,
Yeah, they were all
useless.
black shirts, Motley Crue, Duran Duran, Billy
Oh,
Idol, all kinds of
oh,
things, all brand new.
terrible.
Yeah.
Okay, well, question number 2. Would you rather go to a garage sale in a wealthy neighborhood, or would you rather go to a garage sale in a poor neighborhood? What's better?
It's one of those questions again where it does depend on the neighborhood. I do like going to the neighborhoods where it seems like the wealthy neighborhoods, they know what they got usually. Sometimes they're good because they don't care about money and they just want to get rid of stuff. Other times they know what they got and they want full value. So I don't know. I think most of the time I'd still rather go to the wealthy areas because there's just more potential there. But you can definitely find some really amazing things like, vintage old video games and other, income areas that people they have they just had for years, and just want to get rid of them because they want the newest video games. So yeah, that's my take on it.
For me, I prefer the poor neighborhoods myself. I've seen, at least in my town is kind of sectioned off into a north end and a south end, and the north end is the not as well off part of town. But man, let me tell you, my best finds have all come from the north end. And I mean, there's also older folks that live in the north end, not necessarily dirt poor, but just older, and they just have really amazing garage sales. And yeah, I just definitely prefer the north end over the south end sales. You go to the south end, you might get a cheap Patagonia jacket, um, if you're lucky, but I just haven't had as much luck. But like you said, every once in a while there's people just getting rid of stuff to get rid of it. But I think the odds are more in my favor to get those goodies in the north end. And a lot of the times people, like, people don't know what they have, so they're letting stuff go for $1, $2 or something because they'll take it. So yeah, I prefer the more poor neighborhoods. So
I
that is
live in the poor neighborhood, so I feel like a lot of the sales I go to in the area is not, particularly great. So I like to get out, to some of the better neighborhoods.
all right. Question number 3. Would you rather have a garage sale item have a fixed price, or have the freedom to make an offer? You go to, every once in a while, you get those garage sales where it's just solely make an offer. A lot of times I know, like, churches do garage sales where there's, it's just free will kind of thing. What do you prefer?
I like when there's a price on something. I don't like to make an offer, especially at church sales where it's going to a good cause and I feel like I want this for $2, but I don't want to offer $2. I'd rather it just be priced $2 or $5. You know, I never know what to offer. I Sometimes if it's you can just insult people by throwing out an offer. It's happened many times. I like to just look at a price and be like, "Hey, here's some room to negotiate." So, yeah, that's what I prefer.
Yeah, I hate nothing more than making offers. Nothing makes me more uncomfortable than making an offer. I feel like people always have a price in their head, and if I don't give them what they want, I feel uncomfortable. They feel uncomfortable. I don't really understand why people do it at all. Like, I don't want to do it. It's just not in my personality. I have no desire to make offers for anything at any point. I'll make an offer on eBay because I don't have to do that directly to somebody's face. But when it comes to garage sales, I do not want to make an offer. I do not.
Yeah, it takes time because usually when you're at a garage sale, you just want to look and be like, "Oh, this is price good. This is price good." If everything is not priced, you don't know where any of the stuff stands. Like there's some things that it's like, "Well, this is only $1. I'll grab that." But if it's not priced, you're just going to be like, "I don't even care," and just walk past it. So Yeah, I definitely prefer things to be priced, so I kind of have a guideline.
Yeah, definitely. Totally with you on that one. Yeah. See, we would have had to take a shot there. So
Oh, is that how it works?
yeah, yeah. If that's how I had decided. Like if we agreed on something, we have to take a shot.
Oh,
All right, next question. Would you rather go to Goodwill or a locally run thrift store?
well, if the locally run thrift store is priced well, I think the locally one for sure. Uh, some local thrift stores have come to this area or eBay prices, and they're much worse than Goodwill. But yeah, if it's a good price thrift store, I'd rather just go to the good price one. Mostly just end up going to Goodwill because there's just so many of them, and it's it's easy to go to. But if I had the choice, yeah, I prefer the local ones.
Same. I definitely I mean, I appreciate Goodwill. I feel like Goodwill gets the most stuff in town, like in my opinion, but their prices are high. And I feel like they're getting progressively worse. And I think that if given the choice, I would prefer to go to some of the more locally run thrifts. Although, yes, like you said, some of my locally run thrifts have high prices also. So it just depends on which one. There is one that is a church run thrift store, and that one typically would only price up, you know, if it was a very obviously valuable item. Like normally they don't price up too much. So I would definitely prefer that thrift store over Goodwill, but that one's the furthest one from my house, of course, and Goodwill is the closest thing to my house. So I end up going to Goodwill
Right.
by default more just because
Yeah.
it's more in the area. But I would take I wish I could switch the locations of those two thrift stores so I could go to that church one, you know, more.
Same. The church ones for me are a bit out of the way, so I only get there about once a week. It's unfortunate, but I end up having to go to Goodwill just because they're closer. Still find some stuff, but it's I'd prefer just a traditional thrift store over quantity that Goodwill offers.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's just everybody just knows to just go right to Goodwill. They got like a drive-through donation center, and it just seems like the easiest option for people, you know, aside from having them come to your house to pick stuff up, which I know some of the other thrift stores do. But yeah. So next question. Would you rather source with a buddy or would you rather source by yourself?
It's really fun to source with someone. It is, but if they're also a reseller, it can lead to problems. And if it's been a while, I think 6 or 7 years since I've recorded with my nephew, but when he was reselling and we'd go out together, it was fun. But we had a thing where we just roll a dice. Anything we found, you could use we just rolled a dice, whoever got it could have it, right? So it was no worry about who gets to where first. If I found something on this end of the store, he found something on the other end, and we both was like, "Well, I want that. Yeah, I want that too." We'd roll a dice. That was
That's
just a
so
good
fun.
I was just yeah, and I won most of the dice rolls. Is probably why it was more fun for me. But but yeah, I have some videos where we rolled dice for it for certain items, and yeah, I think it's fun. But if you're sourcing the same things, it can be hard because you're just always kind of trying to get one over on the other. I don't know, but yeah, I definitely enjoy sourcing with people. It just usually go solo though.
Yeah, I mean, reselling is very much kind of a lone wolf activity, I think, for many. Um, I'm pretty much constantly sourcing solo. I mean, I know, you know, one other reseller in town, but I don't even know that we necessarily ever went sourcing together. But would I like to have a buddy, like just, consistently with? I mean, I think that would be kind of fun. But yeah, until you get to the point where you want to pick up the same stuff, like, if I'm sourcing with somebody that's just selling clothing, like that's more acceptable to me because I don't sell a ton of clothing, so I would just kind of leave that to them that day. But yeah, if we were sourcing exactly the same thing, that would definitely affect how much I'd want to do that with
Yeah.
them, because yeah, then you're finding things that the other wants, and it's a little more
And I
complex. But
and I
you and I need to go thrifting together someday.
but then we have to roll dice
I mean, I'm
every
I'm
time.
fine with that. I
I
think that I think that would add some fun to it.
I do see a lot of, like, couples, like married couples, and I don't know if all of them are married, but I see a lot of reselling couples out there, like, and I'm thinking, boy, it's like two against one when they're at a garage sale before me. So I could see some benefit having someone else to kind of pull items for you.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, if you're working as a team where you're selling together, I mean, that's kind of a power couple as far as I'm concerned. Like that's the things we dream about as resellers.
I guess if you're sharing the money, it works out that way. It doesn't matter who
Yes,
finds
under
it.
under that scenario,
Yeah.
for sure. But if you're just sourcing with a friend and you're working for yourself, it's a little a little different. So, but yeah, I see both sides to it, but that's why these questions are hard. They're not supposed to be that easy. So, uh, okay, next question. Would you rather spend more money to get a pricier item with a large profit, or spend less money to get an item with a smaller profit?
Larger profit, pay more. I think if you can make if I can pay $100 and make $100, I'm all for that. If, it's better than buying something for $1 and making $10, I think. So that's the way I look at it. It's just that a lot of that stuff's hard to find, so it doesn't happen a whole lot. But I mean, some items I would even pay $100 to make $50 in some cases if it's a really good item. I know it's going to sell and the return rate is going to be low. So yeah, making the profit faster um, always is great.
For me, um, I I don't know. I always feel like it takes so much out of my wallet when I buy a big item, and then I get nervous that it's not going to sell. I do it, but I actually think I would do the opposite more. I think I would actually prefer to buy items that have a smaller profit and just go with that. Smaller profit. Oh, my screen is getting weird. Hopefully that's not going to show up on the what everybody's seeing.
Yeah, it got
Wasn't
weird there
expecting.
for a second, but it looks fine now.
Yeah. All right. Well, next question. Would you rather go to the Goodwill bins or the regular Goodwill?
Well, if they were at the same distance away, definitely the bins, I think. But in my case, it's just too much of a drive even to go to the bins on a regular basis. So there's not one close to me.
The closest bins to me are 5 hours away
Yeah,
in
yeah, it's,
Minneapolis,
it's
and
not
I
that
love
bad for
them.
me.
I have it worse. I have the right to complain.
Yeah.
um, yeah, the bins are super far, but let me tell you, if I lived in Minneapolis, I would just live at the bins. Like you wouldn't see me anywhere else, because those bins are amazing in Minneapolis. The one that's in downtown St. Paul is just insanely amazing, and I've always found really really good stuff. My last time I was there, I didn't have quite as much fun because the people were a little pushier that day, but every other time that I've been there, it's been great. I haven't really had a lot of issues that I've heard other people have at the bins. I don't know if people just are nice in Minnesota, nice, and it's a little easier. I don't know.
Yeah,
But I had a great time there.
that's the only downside at the bins for me is just the people. There's regulars that go there, and they have their spots, they have their carts, they put the blankets over the carts, they have the whole system down. And you
Yep.
kind of feel like an outsider if you don't go enough because it's like, oh, I shouldn't be here because all these people are here every day, all day long. And you have to get over that though when you go. But yeah, if one was local, I'd probably be spending a lot of time there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay. Would you now here's a non-sourcing question. This is just a general question. Would you rather list or would you rather pack for shipping when it comes to eBay? Which is worse for you? Because neither are
Definitely,
good.
definitely listing. I'd much rather pack. Yeah.
I'm really stuck on this one. I really despise both. I don't know. I guess it depends on what I'm shipping. If it's like easy to pack stuff, I'll take shipping over listing any day. But if it's a hard item to pack, I might rather list. So I'm a little in between on this one.
Yeah, there's some things I just don't wanna pack, and I really dread it. I'd probably rather list the item and then pack it, but overall, I think packing, at least I feel like I'm up doing stuff and moving. Listing is just and it could be, just like the eye strain and stuff with listing, but it just seems like packing is just more enjoyable for me anyway. And I'm just burnt out on listing, to be honest. It gets hard, to keep
Uh,
listing consistently. And packing, you've already made the money, right? You're like, "Oh, yeah, this sold for money. Let's get this shipped out." But listing, you just never know, if it's gonna sell or what's gonna happen. Maybe that's part of it. I don't know. But yeah, packing for sure.
yep. I can go either way, but yeah, these are definitely tough questions. But guess what, Wick? You survived them all. That's
Oh,
all
that's
I
it. I've
have.
done it.
Don't forget to like this video. If you haven't, don't forget to subscribe to not just my channel, but also Wick's channel, Flipping Junk, in case you don't subscribe to it already. His channel's way better than mine. So if you're just watching mine and you're not watching his, you are missing out.
Appreciate
So
it.
I was watching, Wick for years before my channel came to be. So I took a lot of inspiration, from his channel. But yeah, he's the master. I'm the student, really.
Oh, I still have much, much to learn.
Well, yeah, that's how we grow, right?
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Wick, for being a part of this video. The animals are making noise, so it's probably a good time to say goodbye for now. But thank you so much for being on the channel,
Yep. Thanks
and
for having
I'll
me.
be chatting with you soon. And as for the rest of you, feel free to check in next week. And again, my name is Melanie, and this is Crow's Thrifty Finds. I'll see you then.